figure out what's.
I think we're on.
Oh, we are live.
We are live.
Welcome back, folks, to the Pixelmon World Cup. This is our second half of the matches for today. I'm not having to check the schedule, with PixelmonGO versus Pokeslam. PixelmonGO, a team that in their previous runnings went 3-0 to them, whereas Pokeslam had a bit more of a mixed bag, winning some and losing others. We'll have to see how things balance out, as if PixelmonGO goes for another 3-0 here, they will be in fantastic standing. Whereas Pokeslam will lose quite a lot of ground. But in the same breath, PixelmonGO can afford to lose a couple matches here, as they do have quite a good record so far.
Yep. PixelmonGO winning 3-0 over Unsorted. But Pokeslam also a very strong team. Currently having the only positive record in the group against Hexagon MC, who is currently the group leader with 4 matches won and 2 lost. So 2 very strong teams facing each other today. We'll just have to see how it's going to play out.
Mm-hmm. As well as the battlers are currently getting ready. One side seems to be ready, the other side hasn't responded yet. But I'm sure they'll be ready soon. Of course, keep in mind, just because the battle assist are ready doesn't mean the match is going to start immediately, as the teams do need to be sent previews behind the scenes and then think accordingly how they're going to prepare, as most teams are communicating behind most players are communicating behind the scenes with their players. Just because they're ready does not mean the match is going to start immediately, as it does appear that both sides are ready. Shaikimi for PixelmonGO and
Sushi Roll, I believe, for
Sushi Roll.
Pokeslam.
Sushi Roll, okay.
We do not know that for certain, but I do believe it's going to be Sushi Roll versus Shaikimi for our first battle. Or perhaps going to be Beast-like, but I don't believe so.
I'm quite curious on the general game plan we're going to see here, as if I recall, PixelmonGO had mostly mixed teams, running very balanced sets. We'll see if that continues forward. And I can't quite remember what Pokeslam was using. But most teams have been using balance, so I suspect that's likely what they were using. I'm honestly a bit surprised I haven't seen that many full-blown, full-brunt hyper offense in this tournament so far. It's mainly been balance and stall.
Yeah, most teams being quite careful with a good defensive core set up on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Really trying to work around each other. Earlier today, though, we did see one almost hyper offense team, very offensive team, fare very well against their match. I believe it was Kex versus Goose the Great, which was Hexagon MC versus Unsorted Pixelmon, and both teams there felt pretty well, but ultimately Kex did win out. Both offensive teams, very little stall involved in this group so far, I believe. Oh, and the battle is underway.
I need to check who the stream is spectating so I can spectate the right side.
Yep.
All right, the stream is from Shy Kimmy's perspective of PixelmonGO, and we do know that Sushi Roll is their opponent. A
Tornadus T
Tornadus
lead.
T lead and Landorus T lead. Landorus T lead, of course, being one of the most common things you'll see in any competitive match, never mind the World Cup, where it's also been very common.
Yeah, Landorus T pretty certainly has been the most common Pokemon so far in this tournament. Faring up against a Tornadus variant in this lead matchup, we'll have to see what both players decide to do.
So Tornadus goes for the knockoff. Staying in against his Landorus is potentially risky, as although not all of them run it, many Landoruses do choose to run Stone Edge. Which would hurt this Tornadus quite a bit. Either it isn't running it at all, or it's just choosing to go for the taunt instead, preventing the Tornadus from doing any of the utility that Tornadus T usually does.
Yeah, good start so far for Shaikimi, confirming that the Landospherian was not Choice Scarf. Knocking off its heavy duty boots could potentially be huge if Stealth Rocks or other hazards are set up here.
Keep in mind that
Landorus going for the taunt.
Landorus is a Pokemon that has no recovery at all. Usually the only recovery it gets is through leftovers, which can usually offset the damage it takes from hazards. So with its boots being knocked off, all hazard damage will be permanent on it, which could have a great effect later into the match, as Landorus is a very common pivot as the Diancie comes in, taking the Bleak Wind Storm, but not taking much.
Diancie, almost certainly going to be a Mega Diancie here. Pretty sure it will not outspeed this Tornadus variant. Probably going to look for either a U-turn on Diancie or a switching straight up. Not a very good matchup for Tornadus here.
It certainly can't stay in. As it does go for the U-turn, getting a bit of chip in. Every little counts. As the Tyranitar comes in, taking actually a non-insignificant amount from that Diamond Storm.
Yeah,
And
Tyranitar coming
potentially
in.
is threatened by a Moonblast or Earth Power.
Could be a very special defensive Tyranitar here. The Sandstorm will give it a lot of extra special defense because it is a rock type, but I do think a Moonblast here would probably KO this Tyranitar.
Very interesting choice bringing in the Tyranitar. Maybe they had no other better switch in for a rock type move.
Yeah, I don't know here. This Diancie is very threatening currently on the field versus Shaikimi. Gonna
Mega
have to
Diancie
see
also
how
a
he
Pokemon we've
responds.
actually seen quite a lot. One of the more common megas, I'd say the two most common megas we've seen so far have been Mega Lopunny and Mega Diancie. With of course Mega Sableye being a staple on Stole teams and Swampert on a staple on Rain teams. But in terms of just general teams, Diancie and Lopunny have seen a lot of usage.
Yeah, Mega Diancie, quite common so far. We're gonna have to see what the battlers do here. I think Shaikimi possibly think of a lot of things. I think Sushi Roll's move is quite obvious here to go for that Moonblast or to go for that Earth Power, perhaps. Body Press does not
I'm
kill the Tyranitar here.
very interesting. I'm curious in what the set of the. I mean, obviously the body press is there in case the Diamond Storm gets the defensive proc, but I'm very curious as to why you would use that over your Stab Moonblast if you're running it. Perhaps that had a very uncommon EV spread, perhaps that lended
Yeah,
it towards more of a defensive and attack like build. I'm unsure, but I would have thought that this Tyranitar would have been heavily threatened, and the fact that the Tyranitar actually stayed in and just went for that Earthquake was extremely risky, but it
extremely
did
risky
pay off.
move.
It did pay off.
Paid off
Although this
heavily for
Tyranitar is
Shaikimi.
at 9 health now. And depending on the spreads of this Tyranitar and this Landorus The Landorus could be faster, but the Tornadus does come in to the Earthquake, not caring too much.
Yeah, interesting move there to go for the Earthquake when Tyranitar probably would have died to any move thrown at it. Now the
Right?
Tornadus
It
variant
probably
comes
would have
back
been
out.
better going for a U-turn because you probably would have guaranteed the kill on the Tyranitar, and if something else comes in, you get the advantage of switching to something that has a better matchup.
Yeah, we'll have to see here. Keep in mind, Sushi Roll's previous switching to this Tornadus variant was Diancie, so we'll have to see what he goes for now. Paid off quite heavily for Shikimi there, going for that Earthquake to knock out the Mega Diancie. Huge threat remove
I mean, the
from
main thing
Sushi Roll's
between these
team.
two Pokemon is that depending on what they're running, they don't really have anything that can really do much to each other. Of course, as I said, the Landers could be running Stone Edge, but I suspect it's not, as I think it would have used it already. As it does switch out into the Slowking, which takes the Bleakwind Storm and does get the Frostbite proc.
Very unfortunate there for Sushi Roll getting that Frostbite proc. We'll see if he can make something happen with Galarian Slowking now. Could be running a variety of sets. We've seen quite a bit of variety with this Pokemon so far. Some choosing to run the Assault Vest, while some prefer leftovers with a chilly receptions set. We'll have to see what it can do against the Tornadus variant here.
The Chili Reception set has been very common. In fact, it actually, because it's so common, someone running a different set caught another player off guard in one of the previous matches the other day when a Galarian Slowking was running Ice Beam and completely destroyed a Landorus that tried to switch in on it. The slow pivoting Chili Reception set has been very common.
Yeah, Galarian Slowking, probably one of the best pivots in the game right now. Frostbite proc, pretty huge for
Goes for the knockoff.
Shakimi. Knocking
Getting
off
rid
the
of that
Rocky
Rocky
Helmet.
helmet. Best Looking is actually threatened this next turn. It will need to switch out, and it can't go for the Chilly Reception or it will die.
That Sandstorm and that Frostbite heavily
Mm-hmm.
chipping down this Galarian Slowking right now. We'll also soon start to chip down this Tornadus variant pretty heavily with that Toxic and Sandstorm damage. But that,
Neither Pokemon really want to stay in for too long, but the Slowking is on a far. Its timer is far closer to hitting 0 than this Tornadus is. It can afford to stay in for a couple more turns.
yeah, I think the Frostbite on the Slowking was extremely unfortunate for
Mm-hmm.
Sushi Roll here. Tornadus variant proving to be a thorn in the side of Sushi Roll so far with his Mega Diancie being out of the game very fast. Do you have to keep in mind that Sharkimi's Tyranitar is on its last legs as well? Probably going to be used to set up Sandstorm one last time before being knocked out.
Notably, as well, with that Diancie gone, and now they're deciding to switch in with the Slowking instead, I don't know if they really have a confident check for this Tornadus anymore.
Yeah, Tornadus variant. A Pokemon that fills many holes in a team will now just swap out back to the Landorus, taking very little damage from the knockoff.
Tornadus will likely want to switch out this coming turn as the Sandstorm and Toxic damage, and also likely U-turn or knockoff, or whatever chip this Landorus wants to throw at it. While it might not kill, it will certainly bring it very, very low. And the Tornadus is currently a very high threat towards the enemy team, and you want to keep it alive while you can.
Yeah, this Landorus confirmed not Choice Scarf. What what can it really bring to the game here? Landorus without a Choice Scarf, not that fast of a Pokemon. So we'll have to see what Sushiro can do with it. Variety in between Landorus's has been pretty great, but most people will be choosing to run that Choice Scarf pivot set on Landorus.
So the choice scarf pivot set or the just general utility set, defensive utility set is what you're going to see most of the time. Judging by the little amount of damage this has been taken and the fact that it was running boots instead of scarf, I'm expecting it to be the latter, the more defensive utility set. But saying that, it hasn't set up rocks despite multiple opportunities to do so. So Tornadus does U-turn out. And
Now
just
it
as I
will set up
say,
their
it
stealth
does
rocks.
set up rocks as the Tangrowth comes in.
And go very defensive Pokemon, very physically defensive. Usually wants to set up Leech Seed here. We'll see what it can do versus this Landorus, but I do not think this Landorus has any way of dealing with this Tangrowth for now.
What moves have we seen from this Landorus? We've seen U-turn, we've seen Earthquake, we've seen
Taunt.
Stealth Rock. Have we seen knockoff from it?
It used Taunt on the first turn versus the
Oh right,
Tornadus
taunt.
variant.
Yes, good point.
So
So
we
we
do know
definitely
the
know
full
it's not
set.
running. Yes, we do know it's not running Stone Edge, which does actually mean that. And also notably, we know it's not running Explosion either, as many Landerses keep Explosion in the back pocket just in case.
We'll use Taunt against this Tangrowth here. Good Taunt
Preventing
by...
it from using Sleep Powder, which could have been quite the problem if that was able to go off.
Yeah, Tangrowth, not that offensive of a Pokemon, so the Taunt. Good play by Shushiro there. Gonna have to see if Tangrowth has any
If it
offensive
can, yeah,
moves.
we'll have to see if the Tangrowth can really threaten this Landorus at all. Now that it has been taunted, as I think the main way it would be able to threaten the Landorus was with its utility moves.
Yeah, perhaps an adaptation by Shushiro, knowing that there have been quite many balanced and stall teams so far in the tournament, so perhaps he's packing Taunt for those. It seems to have worked out for now, though, against his Tangrowth.
Very likely you don't see taunt too much on a Landorus. It is an option, but not a common one. So I think you might be right in that.
Galarian Moltres coming out, knocking off the weakness policy, getting its weakness policy knocked off, rather.
That's actually quite rough, as Galarian Moltres is a Pokemon that, with its weakness policy and the fact that it's slightly more bulky than you'd expect, it can often survive a non-stab, super effective move being thrown at it.
Keep
This
in
is a
mind,
Pokemon that, after it's set up, if it gets the opportunity to set up, with the common Double Dance set running agility and nasty plots, with weakness policy and berserk on top of that, it becomes a monster that is almost impossible to stop. But with that weakness policy gone, and a bit of chip, which is going to make berserk harder to theoretically use, um, it's going to struggle getting to that point. But it does go for an air slash, revealing that it is running air slash instead of hurricane. Honestly, in that position, you probably could have gone for either a nasty plot or an agility, as you did have at least one free turn in front of that Tangrowth as it was taunted.
yeah, maybe this is not the nasty plot set. Many players choosing to run weakness policy and Berserk as its sole boosting option and going for that extra coverage move. We'll have to see what this Moltres can do now, but against this Clefable, without a weakness policy, it really does not want to take any Moonblasts at all. We're going to have to see how Sushiro adapts to this situation.
Now, I doubt in this sort of scenario, Clefable is rarely invested into special attack. A Moonblast would hurt, but probably usually wouldn't kill, which is the sort of scenario where a weakness policy Berserk set is fantastic. But that weakness policy's gone. You're not going to get that value from that anymore.
Yeah, I think Sushiro here really having a tough time figuring out what to do against this Clefable here.
Yes, unfortunately, the Moltres is something that can be, if you play it correctly, a win condition in only a couple turns, has partly lost what it wants to do, as the Clefable goes for the Wish, potentially wanting to bring that Tyranitar back in.
Yeah, Wish could be huge for the Tyranitar here, who was left at 9 HP after taking care of that Mega Diancie. I'm gonna have to wait to see what happens here. But against this Slowking, Tyranitar can definitely be a good switch in. We're gonna teleport into wishing the Tyranitar. Gonna have to see
I don't know
if
if
Sushiro can
teleports
adapt.
really matter because I think Clefable's faster than Slowking. I think.
That's where that negative priority from teleport comes in.
Oh right, I forgot that was negative priority. That's a fair point.
So we're gonna have to see what this Slowking can do to Clefable here. Stab Poison will definitely do a whole lot of damage to this Clefable, and I'm not sure that that is something that Shaikimi wants to take here. Most Pokemon used by battlers, most teams used by the battlers so far have featured a Steel type so far to be immune to that poison attacks that these Galarian Slowking spread.
It does go for the protect, meaning the wish will affect itself.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's not running teleport then.
Perhaps he's just trying to put this Galarian Slowking on a timer here with that Frostbite, forcing it to swap out with the Regenerator healing. We're gonna have to see what this Slowking can do against this Clefable. It did go for the Toxic, maybe confirming that it doesn't have Sludge Bomb.
Switches into Excadrill. Now the
It does
Excadrill
have.
Tyranitar set is very common. Um, however, you need to have a Tyranitar set up for that Excadrill, and it hasn't. Sandstorm is not up. Even though, despite that, however, the Slowking is threatened and will have to switch out this turn.
I wonder what set this Excadrill is running.
With the Tyranitar there, I would expect it to be running the
Probably the
Sandrush
Sword
set.
Stunts. Yeah, probably the Sandra Sword Stance set here. With its two stab moves, but that fourth move can be very important in this matchup here. It doesn't have to be running Sword Stance, but that's what I'd expect it to be running. Since we did not see the Mold Breaker ability in the chat, this does come from that. It is the Sandrush Excadrill, backed up by that Tyranitar. Gonna have to see what both battlers do here, but I would say that Sushi Roll so far has been on the back foot for the majority of the match, while Shaikimi really blew a hole into Sushi Roll's team there at the beginning with that
Yes,
Tyranitar surviving on 9 HP.
yeah, it's really that since that Mega Diancie was lost, Sushi Roll has been on the back foot and has been trying to make some space for themselves, trying to just get some sort of momentum. But every time Shaikimi has had some sort of answer preventing them.
Rapid Spin will clear the way of Stealth Rock for his team,
Oh, of
on
course, that makes
Shaikimi's team,
sense.
that is.
Because if you brought in the Tyranitar, it would die from the rocks before it managed to get the wish healing.
Yeah, that would likely confirm that it is not packing Rock Slide. But now with this speed increase, you have to be wary, because this Excadrill can do a huge amount of damage. Gonna have to see here if a -1 Iron Head would kill versus this Landorus here, or if Shakimi will just make the decision to swap back out.
Hard to say. Excadrill does have a fairly high base attack stat, but will not risk it as the Landorus predicts the switch out going for the Stealth Rock as the Tangrowth comes back in. Now, we do already
Yeah,
know this Landorus is running Taunt, and it didn't appear like this Tangrowth could really do much to it while taunted.
yeah, this Tangrowth here hugely crippled by that Landorus knowing taunt. Interesting switch
Perhaps,
in, maybe trying to double pivot in something.
yeah, perhaps just once again going for the Sleep Powder despite the taunt.
Perhaps predicting some sort of switch or prediction from
Mm-hmm.
Sushiro, now probably being forced back into only using knockoff, which will not do a lot of damage to this Landorus. But as we know, Landorus does not have any recovery, so any chip damage on this Landorus is appreciated. And the
And I
Landorus
don't believe
cannot threaten
we
Tangrowth
haven't.
that much.
I don't believe we've seen a Wish user on the side of Sushi Roll yet. So
Yeah, interesting situation for both battlers here. I'd say it's pretty neutral right now since Shakimi is forced into knockoff.
Bringing
Oh,
that bringing that Tyranitar into Excadrill could be very, very good and could honestly clean up the match. However, you cannot do that safely while these rocks remain up.
Superior coming out here, very threatening from Sushi Roll here. We do know that it is not an unaware Clefable since it did not take any damage from the Stealth Rocks, which confirms that it's Magic Guard. So, contrary Leaf Storms, which will boost the Superior special attack twice fold, will be incredibly damaging to Shikimi's team here.
This Clefable could be running Mystical Fire, but that likely won't be enough to kill this Superior, although it would threaten it quite a bit. Uh-oh. We might have a bug.
We might have some technical issues in this battle currently. Gonna have to get a confirmation on that.
We might have a restart. Hopefully we don't have to. So fortunately, it appears the waiting bug, the infamous Pixelmon waiting bug, has once again reappeared, something that was solved many months ago. Unfortunately, it appears to have reappeared.
Oh,
Nope, the turn does go through.
The turn does go through.
As the Clefable goes for the Protect.
The battle is being a bit confused, it appears, from Pokeslam if it was in the middle of the turn. But the match does go on, setting itself from the Leaf Storm here, confirming what Superior wants to do. Superior, which seems like a pretty linear Pokemon, can definitely have a multitude of sets to use here. Not to be underestimated. We'll have to see what Shikimi can react to against the Superior. Tornadus Farron coming out.
I do believe Tornadus Therian is faster than Superior.
I do believe so, but if this Superior might be running a Choice Scarf, then it will be massively threatening for Shikimi.
Very much could be, and also, I think the only flying type move that Tornadus has is Bleak Wind Storm, which could miss, but Tornadus goes for the U-turn instead, pivoting into the Excadrill, which does threaten the Slowking, and once again, likely going to Rapid Spin here to take out those rocks.
Yeah, Rapid Spin, doing more chip damage to that Landorus, and now the question really is, will Ironhead be enough versus this Landorus here?
Yes, this is the second. Oh, it goes for the Swords Dance.
That can be incredibly
Oh,
scary,
the Landorus goes for the Earthquake.
and it does
Oh,
die.
an attempted call out, but unfortunately did not work well.
Shushiro clawing back quite a bit of momentum here.
Without that, without that Excadrill, Shikimi will probably struggle to find space from here.
Hidden Power Ice here
Flanders
coming out
does
from
go
Tangrove.
down. We haven't seen that before. That would have, you should have used that earlier.
Yeah, perhaps Shikimi trying to lull Pokeslam here into like a false sense of security by just keeping going for that knockoff. Also had Hidden Power
Does
Ice in the
also
back.
mean that this Tangrowth can likely threaten that Superior as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Tangrowth obviously resisting that Leaf Storm from Superior might be the key for Shikimi to winning this battle. We'll have to wait and see.
Very interesting set on this Tangrowth, but also now that that Landorus is gone, Sleep Powder will be safer to use. Of course,
Galarian Moltres is coming back out.
the Superior does still exist, and it could swap into that Sleep Powder for free. Now, I do not believe a Tangrowth will die to one Air Slash here. It may have died to a Hurricane, but this Moltres probably isn't running Hurricane.
We'll have to wait and see what this Tangrowth does. Possibly trying to go for that Sleep Powder after surviving a
Yeah.
hit from the Galarian Moltres. But still, that Air Slash does have a chance to flinch, so you might be
And even if
in
that,
for an unlucky
even if it
set of
does stay
events.
in and go for that Sleep Powder, it can miss. It's
Yeah,
always the
both
risk in Sleep Powder.
both battlers here in a precarious situation where both moves can miss, where each play is very precarious to make here. Swapping it back
Does
into the
play it safe,
Clefable.
switching out the Clefable. Smoltres is threatened, especially with that weakness policy gone.
Yeah, might now be going for that wish to get that Tyranitar back up to some healthy state of mind. But I don't
Now
know.
that keep in mind the rocks are down because the Landorus died before it got the opportunity to set them back up.
Yeah, the Stealth Rocks being down and that Clefable being on the field, Moltres will have to swap out here, probably in favor of the Galarian Slowking once more.
But Tyranitar will do very strong against Sushi Roll, where that Superior will be a roadblock for it. Once that Superior is dead, though, I don't know if Sushi Roll has an answer for that Tyranitar in the back anymore.
Yeah, I think Sushi Roll's main objective here is to not let Clefable get any sort of wish onto that Tyranitar. We do have confirmation from the earlier set of events that it is back in Sludge Wave, that Galarian Slowking, which will definitely kill that 9 HP Tyranitar and this Clefable. So Sharkimi really have to sort of bob and weave his way through getting that wish onto that Tyranitar.
The Superior does
Superior
come
coming
out,
out.
threatening the Tyranitar switch in.
Yeah, this Superior might be able to run away with this game.
However, the Tornadus could now switch in, um, and it would get some of that wish healing as well. Of course, the Superior could very well be running something that could punish that switch in.
Superior going for the knockoff, so most likely not the Choice Scarf set. Otherwise, he probably just would have gone for that Leaf Storm. Superior still very heavily a utility Pokemon as well, with Glare being able to
Clefable
paralyze
does
everything.
stay in.
Clefable staying in here. We'll have to see what Sushiro does here, but this Superior is definitely a major threat for Shakimi's team.
I think if the Clefable did have Mystical Fire, it would have used it by now.
Yeah, that Mystical Fire would have most likely came out. Both battlers clearly thinking quite heavily on what to do here.
The Tyranitar does come out, dying to the knockoff. Does set Sandstorm, though.
Yeah, Sandstorm is
Tornadus
up. That
comes
Tornado is coming
back
in
in.
now.
Keep in mind, with that Sandstorm up, the poison damage and the Sandstorm damage is going to be slowly breaking through that Tornadus, and it won't be able to stay in forever.
Yeah, I'm wondering what set this Superior could be running, knowing that it went for knockoff twice in a row. Possibly still the Sharp set. I think it might be. Good U-turn by Shakimi here, getting some good momentum in on this Slowking.
And also very interesting, going for that switch in the Superior means it doesn't actually reveal if it's using Scarf or not. We still don't get to see that item.
Yeah, Sushiro maybe trying to bluff what item he has on his Superior. Garchomp will be coming out now, Pokemon we haven't seen from Shakimi so far,
And
and
we just
keep in
realized that
mind,
this is a proper sand sweeping team, which is I think the first time we've seen that so far in this tournament.
yeah, keep in mind, Garchomp can be a multitude of things. Could be Mega with Sand Force, could even be running Sand Veil.
Sandville's banned.
Never mind, could not be running Sand Veil. But this Garchomp could still be a lot of things, guys.
Very much. It's one of those Pokemon that is extremely versatile, and you even most Pokemon that have multiple sets usually reveal what they are on that first turn. Garchomp is a Pokemon that doesn't really do that, and it's hard to tell what it's going to do after it's really like actually succeeded in what it wants to do. Of
Yeah,
course,
Garchomp.
if it is Mega, then it will be quite obvious what it's running. But if it's not Mega, then there are many options, and it's not going to be easy to tell which one it's going for.
Yeah, this is an incredibly scary situation for Shushiro to be in.
If it
That
is running
Slowking,
a set with Fire Fang, that Superior can't safely come in. Slowking will likely have to switch out.
yeah, Slowking massively threatened by this Garchomp here. Perhaps would maybe die to Scale Shot as well. Moltres coming in.
Moltres does come in, taking the skill shot.
Skill
Only
shot.
hits 2 times, so it isn't a loaded dice set at the very least.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it can take out this Moltres with a skill shot roll of perhaps 4 to 5 hits.
It's
But
very
what can
possible that
this
this is the
Moltres really
Z
do?
Stone Age set.
Yeah, we have to wonder here what this Moltres can do against this Garchomp. Skill shot defense decrease not vary that
Likely
much.
was expecting an earthquake to come out from the Garchomp. But no, the Garchomp went for something else instead. And with that speed boost, unless that Superior is scarfed, this Garchomp will not be faster on everything on Sushi Roll's team.
Yeah, will most likely be faster unless that Superior is packing the Choice Scarf. But even then, I do not believe it'll be able to kill this Garchomp. And this Galarian Moltres here, which is confirmed a special attacker, will not be able to do much with that defense decrease from the skill shot. So it seems like Shaikimi has a lot of free reign what to do with this Garchomp now. Perhaps even a Swords Dance coming out, which will come
The
out.
Swords Dance.
Swords Dance will come out
Still
here.
don't know what item it's running.
Air Slash coming out from Moltres here, and now this is incredibly scary for Shushiro to deal with. A +1 speed Garchomp, +2 attack.
Exactly. This Garchomp is a very, very high threat. Still has not revealed its item either. Could be running Rocky Helmet, Rough Skin. Could be running either Z Stone Edge or Z Outrage.
Could even still be running Mega Garchomp, we don't know.
Could be.
We'll have to see here. At least we know it's not a Life Orb Garchomp, but otherwise it would have taken damage from that skill shot. But this Garchomp right now, a massive... will be the Mega Garchomp coming out. Looking for that skill shot, will kill the Moltres, and now this is incredibly scary for Shushiro to deal with.
It could... Would it not be faster than the Superior?
At +2, it would be faster than the Superior now. Keep in mind, guys, that Sand Force ability on Mega Garchomp will now do incredible damage with its Earthquake. And at +2 in speed and attack, this Garchomp might be running away with the game here. We'll have to see if Sushiro can respond. Still, though, Mega Garchomp, quite a bulky Pokemon as well, not to forget. Still a good amount of HP versus most of these special attackers.
Even a HP Ice, from a non-stab HP Ice, usually would only do about like 50% on a Garchomp. It's very, very bulky. As
Skill
it
shot.
does go for the skill shot, taking out the Superior. I think that was the last possible answer Sushi Roll had for this Garchomp. I don't know if there's anything left behind the scenes. As
Urshifu will come out, which will threaten that Garchomp.
Yes, Garchomp does have, I believe it's now at -3 defense. An Aqua Jet, if this Urshifu is running it, may well kill.
Perhaps that's what Sushiro was looking for with that Superior, to get that extra defense drop on the Garchomp so it can force it out with Aqua Jet. Finally, something to perhaps deal with this Mega Garchomp, but it already has done massive damage to Sushiro's team here. We'll have to wait and see.
I have a suspicion the reason this turn is taking so long is because Shy Kimi is running the calcs on whether or not Aqua Jet kills, and it
Earthquake
stays
comes
in!
out, Urshifu getting knocked out there.
Doesn't have Aqua Jet. I think that was perhaps a bluff.
Perhaps a bluff, perhaps a prediction, but the fact of the matter is, I think this Garchomp is running away with the game here for Shaikimi.
I don't believe Sushi Roll has anything left to answer.
And there you have it.
It does die. Shaikimi beats Sushi Roll with 4 Pokemon remaining. A fantastic first match showing from PixelmonGO.
PixelmonGO on a extremely hot run of battle so far. I don't believe they have lost a single battle yet. Currently, 4 wins, 0 losses here. Whilst we wait for the next combatants, they're undefeated so far. Incredible running from PixelmonGO so far, looking to be one of the most threatening teams in the tournament.
Now, if you're Pokeslam, you have won a couple matches up until this point, I believe. You're not out of the game yet, but you cannot let these next matches go to the opposing side. You need to win these, or your team's going to be looking in a very dire spot.
Yeah, Pokeslam now 2 wins and 2 losses, and the next 2 battlers coming out here. Pokeslam's HC Noodles versus PixelmonGo's Schrader.
Of note,
Pokeslam looking to pull one
HC
back.
Noodles is the team manager of Pokeslam.
Yeah, the team manager taking things into his own hands versus PixelmonGo's Schrader here. Have to wait and see until the match gets underway, but I'm very impressed with PixelmonGO so far. Shaikini played an excellent match there. While Pokeslam did not look bad at all, but I think that Mega Garchomp really just ran away with the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that Mega Diancie dying early was very, very unfortunate for Pokeslam there. I wonder if that was a damage calculation thing on whether it would kill or not, and they perhaps took a chance. But we'll have to wait and see for this next match to get underway.
Interestingly enough, looking back at that match, if that Mega Diancie's Diamond Storm did proc the defensive boosts, that Tyranitar would have died from the body press, and everything that happened from then on um, wouldn't have happened at all.
Yeah,
Especially notably that Garchomp being able to sweep at the end there with that Swords Dance and Sand Force boost.
yeah, and the next battle is underway. Rillaboom versus Garchomp as leads. We haven't seen that so far.
I don't think I've seen a Garchomp lead, and I don't think I've seen a Rillaboom lead. I've seen many of both, but neither is leads so far in this tournament.
We're gonna have to wait and see here. Currently, the stream does not have a view on the battle
Yeah,
yet.
I'm waiting for the stream to. You need to spectate someone, Lanky. You need to spectate someone.
The battle is underway here. I'll try to commentate the best of my ability. Currently, it is a Heatran for HC Noodles versus an Iron Moth for Schrader. Both leads having been swapped out.
I'm gonna ping him in Discord.
Yeah, I'll continue commentating this match here for the viewers. Iron Moth being withdrawn for that superior, Heatran getting Earth Power in on that superior, not doing a whole bunch of damage.
What is Lanky's account? I don't know if it's actually Lanky.
And superior
Thoughts ping was
obviously
horrible.
massively threatened by Heatran here. Toxapex will be swapped up with superior into that Heatran. Interesting. Magma Storm on the Toxapex. Will not be doing a whole lot of damage, but Toxapex now becoming trapped by that swirling magma. Possibly a kill here on this Toxapex with that Earth Power.
You'll have to use your imaginations, folks.
Yeah, you have to use your imagination skills for this one. A bit unfortunate.
Now we did actually see this in an earlier match of a Heatran trapping in a Toxapex with Magma Storm and being able to kill it.
Yeah, currently Toxapex recovering as much as it can versus this Earth Power. So far, it's getting whittled down little by little. This Toxapex really burning through its recover PP right now. Still getting hurt by that Magma Storm. Another Earth Power versus this Toxapex coming in, not doing that much damage, probably being especially defensive Toxapex here. But this Toxapex has to recover to not get KO'd here,
Burning
which
through
is
the PP of Recover, though.
yeah. Stealth Rock will be used from Heatran against HC Noodles. Another PP burn through by Toxapex, whilst not even any damage dealt to it. Earth Power will come out now against the Toxapex. Scald coming out for the Toxapex against the Heatran, doing quite a bit of damage, but not that much. And as this Toxapex just keeps getting Earth powered over and over, possibly Heatran looking for that special defense drop, and now Toxapex will get swapped out for Iron
Valiant
Valiant.
comes in taking a lot of damage from an Earth power.
Yeah, Iron Valiant
Just under
using its
half.
booster energy.
Gets
Not
the
a
speed
great
boost.
spot.
This Heatran will be forced out this turn.
Heatran getting a bit of their leftovers recovery, whilst I believe the stream still does not have a view of
The
the
stream
battle.
is now looking
Now,
at the
the stream is now looking at the battle. Thank goodness for that.
What side is it spectating on the side of the Heatran? I'm on the wrong side. How do I leave? I'm stuck. Okay.
Still deciding what to do here against this Iron Valiant. So far, though, I do believe Schrader is on an advantage for this battle.
So far,
Pretty,
with that Toxapex having to burn through so many of its recovers.
yeah, you have to question how much PP that Toxapex has on recover. Keep in mind,
If that happens again, it will likely be out of its PP as
it's
the Heatran stays in against the Iron Valiant as the Iron Valiant switches into a superior, expecting a swap out on the other side, being heavily punished for it.
the Iron Valiant will be coming
Very,
back out now.
very risky, but paying off on the side of Schrader.
Yeah,
As the
keep in
Tapu
mind
Lele
this
comes
Iron
in.
Valiant already had used its booster energy in the swap in prior, so will not now have that speed boost. Tapu Lele coming out.
Scarf Tapu Lele will now be faster. I don't believe it was before.
Yeah,
With that speed boosted Iron Valiant, but if this is a Scarf Tapu Lele, this Iron Valiant is threatened out. That was an amazing call on Schrader's side there.
yeah, and now
Does
the
go for the
Iron
psychic.
Valiant
It is
also
scarfed,
being
and the
knocked
Iron
out.
Valiant comes down. This is looking very bad for Pokeslam's side. Using both that Superior and the Iron Valiant, two of the most offensive Pokemon in the current metagame.
Iron Tread's coming out, not a common Pokemon we've seen so far, I
It's
believe.
actually threatened by a well. It wouldn't be threatened in this specific scenario because this Tapu Lele is scarfed, but this Tapu Lele is likely running Focus Blasts. So, in a normal matchup, the Tapu Lele would threaten out this Iron Treads, but in this scenario, the Lily is choice locked into Psychics, but will swap out
Slowbro
into the
coming out
Slowbro.
for that Tapu Lele.
Iron
Rapid
Treads going for
Spin,
the Rapid Spin,
clearing away
out
those
those
Stealth Rocks.
Rocks.
Yeah. And now keep in mind, it also has a speed boost for that Iron Treads. I do not know how much that will matter, but it's a good thing to keep in mind.
Going for the Iron Head, not doing too much. Perhaps expecting the Lele to come back in.
Yeah, Slowbro, very physically defensive Pokemon, will be packing Regenerator. I don't think there's a very good way for this Iron Treads to deal with this Slowbro so far. But keep in mind, it does still have its Air Balloon up. Slowbro teleporting out. Swapping into Rillaboom here. Grassy terrain coming back in. And this Rillaboom now pretty threatening. Grassy Glide doing a big chunk of damage versus this Iron Treads here.
Does pop Iron Treads Air Balloon.
And Ice Spinner doing a huge chunk of damage to Rillaboom. And that Future Sight will finish off that Iron Treads. Iron Moth coming out now. Keep in mind, the viewers did not see it, but this Iron Moth had already used its booster energy in one of the first turns. Critical hit versus this Heatran and getting that special attack increase on the fiery dance. Huge, could be very huge for this Iron Moth here, which is massively threatened by Earth Power. I do not believe it will stay in still, but if it has any move that to deal with this Heatran, it will use it now.
Heatran is running Flame Body instead of Flash Fire.
Yeah, this Iron Moth, if it has a way to deal with this Heatran, could be a massive threat on the side of HE Noodles here. We'll have to see what Schrader does.
Does threaten with an Earth Power. Iron Moth, a Pokemon very, very little bulk. This goes for the Discharge. Staying in against the Heat Power, Earth Power, barely surviving.
1 HP, which is incredible. literally 1 HP. I do not believe it was a focus sash, as we did see.
It
I
was
believe we
not,
did see
no.
that most energy. Iron Moth generally surviving on 1 HP here. It's as if it has the mechanic where it survived through the friendship, and the Fire Dance will not kill. Unfortunate for HE Noodles there.
It probably would have if it got the special attack boost initially.
It did actually, but
Oh, it did,
for some
okay.
reason HE Noodles went for the discharge, possibly predicting a switch there. Toxapex will be coming back out versus this Heatran.
Heatran is now going to be unable to do the Magma Storm stall set it did before, not stall, Earth Power set it did before, as
Yep.
it is too low to do that safely as the Slowbro comes in. Oh, the hiccups. Slowbro does threaten his Toxapex out with a very hard hitting Future Sights. It can't stay in forever here.
Yeah, this Toxapex already burned through a lot of its recover PP.
And it goes
Once
for
again,
another.
keep in mind for the people watching the Twitch stream, the Pixelmon World Cup does use a system where you cannot PP max your recovery moves on your Pokemon.
Yeah, so they will be locked to 10 PP, as it does use the old values from Gen 8. As the Landorus comes
And
in.
there you have it. Schrader, 6 Pokemon remaining
Takes
versus HC Noodles here.
a very, very, very strong showing at the end from PixelmonGO there. Some amazing calls. Some amazing calls with that Heatran. For example, against the Iron Valiant, threatened out by the Iron Valiant, it decides to stay in, calling the bluff as the Iron Valiant swapped out to a superior, and the Heatran was able to punish that with a Magma Storm. Some amazing calls, and amazing predicts on Schrader's side. PixelmonGO will bring home another 3 points. They are now six. No, never mind. They are now 5-0. If they do win this next match, they will be the highest standing team in the tournament. As one final match comes out. As Beast-like on the side of Pokeslam, and I believe Blind on the side of PixelmonGO.
Yeah, we saw a pretty good battle there. I have to see if Pokeslam can take back the last match.
I do see one Pokemon on the field. The battle hasn't started, but I do see a Galarian Slowking on the side of Blind.
Yeah, very interesting here what's going to happen. Pixelmon Go, though, on a run of phenomenal form. 5 matches won, 0 matches lost so far in their group.
If they do win this next match, they will be the highest standing team in the tournament so far, with not a single loss under their belt. And also, if they do win this next match, their place in the brackets is basically guaranteed. As even if they lose another 3 matches, they'll be at +3
And the battle is
overall.
underway. Clodsire versus Landers Farian.
The Clodsire immediately threatened out from turn 1. Oh. We have
Hold on here.
Beast-like asking to hold on. Beast-like, unable to bring his full team into the fight, only having 5 Pokemon, will have to do a quick restart with likely the same leads.
Yep. The referee do calling the same lead, so a quick restart will be in order, and then we'll get the match back underway.
my goodness, blind beats blind with 6 Pokemon remaining. Very, very talented.
Very good set of battling there from Blind. Unfortunate for Blind losing that match versus Blind.
Yeah, I know. An 0-6 loss. Very unfortunate. But a 6-0 lead against Blind was very, very, very impressive.
We have some technical difficulties going on. Apparently, Beastlike's team quickly getting vanished, it appears. Hopefully, we can get this match back underway very soon. Keep in mind, I'm having a stroke. We will be having the same lead matchup here: Clodsire versus Landorus Varian.
If you are gonna die in a stroke, please don't do it on stream.
I will do my best as the technical difficulties continue. I will quickly update you guys on the group standings of this current group going on. Pixelmon Go will currently be the group leader with Hexagon MC second. PixelmonGO having won 5 so far and 0 losses, whilst Hexagon MC have won 4 matches so far with 2 losses. Pokeslam definitely not out for the count yet, whilst PixelmonGO is on a very good run of form. We'll have to see how this battle goes, though. A win would be very much appreciated for Pokeslam here.
We'll also just saying something to saw in chat. Beastlike is having to reset their team, and PixelmonGO player Schrader reminding that he will need PP maxes. I think actually a great spot of sportsmanship there. Reminding them to use their PP maxes, as that's not something that happens by standard when you get given your team. Something you need to manually do. And it's quite easy to forget. Many players have already forgotten.
Yeah. Beastlike got it to work.
Looks like our match will be starting again very soon.
Beastlike asking to PP max, as reminded by Schrader. So you will quickly have to PP max all of his Pokemon, and then we'll get this battle underway. As I said, current group standings for this group, Group E. PixelmonGO in first, 5-0. Hexagon MC in second, 4-2. I believe Pokeslam now will be 2-3, and Unsorted, unfortunately, at the bottom, going 0-6. This is the last battle of today's Group E, and afterwards the matchups will be published shortly afterwards. But it currently looks like PixelmonGO is comfortably sitting in first. Speedy, that is also what I thought if you look at the Group E standings. But it actually has been confirmed that Pokeslam won 2 matches against Hexagon MC instead of the other way around. So they are currently going to upgrade that group standing. Apparently.
Right, the battle does appear to be starting once more.
Oh no, apparently the last final result was missing, so we have to get some extra confirmation on that. So we'll inform you shortly. And the battle is back underway. We'll have to remind Lanky to spectate probably once again. Oh, no, there we are. There we go. Now let me get on the correct side of the battle here. Clodsire versus Landorus Varian. Same matchup we had previously. And hopefully the battle can get started properly this time around.
So Clodsire does switch out, being threatened by the Landorus, which did just go for the Earthquake. Didn't predict a switch. Zapdos coming in, not caring about that Earthquake.
Yeah, Zapdos coming in. Quite a popular Pokemon as well so far.
Not actually, depending on what it's running, won't really be able to threaten this Landorus too badly. If this was a rain team in rain, it might be a different story, but Goes for the Hurricane as the Slowking comes in, taking just less than 30%.
Yeah, Hurricane doing quite a bit of damage to the Slowking. U-turn will now come out.
As the Heatran comes in, threatening this Slowking.
Yeah, Heatran will be coming in.
And if it does stay in as well, it will not be taking too much from a future sight, as it traps the Slowking that does go for the chilly reception, being able to pivot out as the Urshifu comes in. Oh, that was almost very, very bad for that Slowking.
Yeah, Slowking will obviously get quite a bit of HP back due to Regenerator. Urshifu now comfortably forcing Heatran out here. As Zapdos comes back in, 3 times Surging Strikes, no static proc for Beast-like. Quite unfortunate, and now the Zapdos will die to Future Sight.
That's very unfortunate.
Probably means that Blind is running protective pads on his Urshifu there.
Either running protective pads or just getting very lucky. As the
That is also
Gallade
definitely an
comes
option.
in.
Gallade comes in. Not a Pokemon we've
I
seen
assume a
before.
Mega Gallade, a Pokemon that we really do not see that much.
Gallade being
Likely
out-favored by
threatening
its Iron
this.
Valiant.
Yes, likely threatening this Urshifu out the field, which may give it a chance to potentially set up. Going for the Zen
Zen
Headbutt, doing
Headbutt
a
doing a huge
considerable
chunk of
amount
damage.
on Tornadus. I genuinely don't know who's faster between these two Pokemon. I assume it's the Tornadus.
I do believe it is the Tornadus, but the question is, can it one-shot this Gallade? And if it can, will that Hurricane or Air Slash miss?
Mega Gallade with a titanic attack stat of base 165. It's why it did so much to that Tornadus, even though it was a neutral hit. As the Tornadus goes for the what was likely either a Z Hurricane or a Z Bleak Wind Storm, but is unable to likely to cement the kill on that Mega Gallade as the Heatran comes in instead, taking little to no damage, and that Z move is wasted. The Tornadus U-turning out as the
Heatran will be going
Urshifu
for the
sets up
Stealth Rocks.
rocks.
And that Urshifu massively threatening with Surging Strikes, doing a huge chunk of damage to really anything that comes in here. This
Seeing
Pokemon...
as last time the switch into this was Zapdos, I'm curious if Beast-like has a Pokemon that can safely switch into this Urshifu.
Yeah, it has not shown yet that he has a very comfortable resist to swap into the Urshifu, as he did swap into the Zapdos. So this Urshifu currently massively threatening Beast-like's team. Superior coming out, getting a huge chunk of damage dealt to it by that U-turn. Great predict by Blind here. And their Superior is now already only at 45 HP here, comfortably in the red. Will most likely be taking a ton of damage.
I'm not sure I would say it's comfortably in the red. I don't think it likes being in the red.
Yeah, I do not
As
think it's
the
comfortable in the red.
Galarian Slowking comes
Galarian
in,
Slowking
Superior
comes
will
in.
likely not be able to do much to it.
Glare coming out. And gets the Paralysis proc. Pretty good for Beast-like here, getting some of that leftovers recovery on his Superior as well. But still, I do not think this is a good situation to be in. And then the Clodsire will be coming back out. And Slowking going for that chilly reception. Probably going to swap back into Urshifu here, I would predict. Landorus coming back out. Will take a bit of damage from that Stealth Rock there. Earthquake will take care of that Clodsire. The Mega Gallade coming back out. Unfortunately for this Mega Gallade, I do believe... Oh, and the Triple actually gets avoided by the Ferrothorn there. Maybe good for Mega Glade, otherwise it would have taken a ton of Iron Barb's damage. But I do not think this Mega Glade will be fast enough to deal with Blind's other offensive Pokemon here. Have to wait and see what happens here. Going for that Swords Dance on that Mega Glade. Now it's attacks that will be truly massive. Gyro
Does
Ball
take a
coming in
big
against
chunk from
that
that
Glade.
Gyro Ball, but I don't think there's anything on the opposing side that can now safely come into this Glade. It absolutely threatens this Ferrothorn with a close combat, does kill it. They decide to presumably sacrifice the Ferrothorn with the ability to bring in something that can hit it faster.
Yeah, probably maybe that the
So
Weavile
Weavile
comes
comes
in,
in, a
which will
very
be
good
faster.
choice.
Will be faster than this Mega Glade here, and will probably even kill with a priority Ice Shard. Weavile, not a Pokemon we've seen that much so far this tournament, but will probably prove to be very useful against this Mega Glade here.
It goes for the knockoff as the Volcarona comes in. Sorry,
Volcarona
the
will come in.
Gallade does die. They stay in with the Gallade and it dies. Quite a big loss, actually. I'm not sure why they decided to stay in. As the Volcarona comes in,
Riverdance will
forcing
come
a
in for that
Weavile out.
Volcarona.
As the Urshifu comes in, but the Volcarona has Quiver Danced. Can this Urshifu threaten this Volcarona enough? Does a Bug Buzz from this Volcarona do enough damage to this Urshifu, which has taken a bit of
If
stealth
this
rock chip?
Urshifu does use Aqua Jet and that Volcarona survives, it probably will KO with Giga Drain here and get most of its
Oh,
HP
right,
back.
of course.
The question is, though, will Volcarona survive an Aqua Jet coming in from this Urshifu?
I think it will. It's a fairly bulky Pokemon.
We'll have to see here. If that doesn't kill, still, this match could definitely still go in favor of Beast-like. Shattered
Volcarona going for
Psyche
the
coming in.
The Z Psychic or Extrasensory. I don't know what Psychic type move Volcarona actually gets.
I do believe it is extrasensory.
Killing that Urshifu. Very, very good use of that there as the Slowking comes in.
Slowking coming in now. But what can Slowking prove to do against this Quiver Danced
Just go for
Volcarona?
the
Go for the Fiery
fiery
Dance.
trying to get one
Thunder
for each.
Wave
It
comes
does
out.
paralyze it.
And now this Volcarona is quite
Keep in mind,
considerably
another
slow.
Quiver Dance, another Quiver Dance will bring it back up to the to neutral speeds, but the Tornadus comes in. Now this Volcarona is now at +2 special defense. It will likely live whatever this Tornadus wants to throw at it, despite being slower. It can
Yeah, if it
probably
gets
stay
another
in.
Quiver Dance up, it will be back at +1. But still.
Tornado's going for the Hurricane and missing anyway. So Volcarona goes for the Fiery Dance, killing that Tornadus.
This Volcarona possibly running away with the game here for Beast-like, but keep in mind it is now back at normal speed. As it did get 2 Quiver Dances up, but it is
Did just get another
paralyzed.
special attack boost from that Fiery Dance as well. We're now at
Weavile coming back out,
+3.
which will be
Weavile will
faster
be
still.
faster, but can it threaten this Volcarona? Going for the knockoff, not doing much as it was already revealed the Volcarona was running a Z-Stone as it goes for another Fiery Dance, killing again with another special attack boost. The Landorus comes in, taking a bit of Stealth Rock chip. I think this Volcarona might have won. Goes for the Fiery Dance. Another special attack boost. As the Galarian, I don't think this Galarian Slowking's going to live this anymore, as it is now, what, +4, +5? I don't know.
Massive
As
damage.
it
Another
barely
special attack
lives.
boost, and it does not do any damage to the Sludge Bomb due to those special defense
This
boosts from
Volcarona
Quiver
has
Dance.
won. I do believe Pokeslam has managed to bring their team back a point,
Huge.
defeating Pixelmon's 5-win, PixelmonGO's 5-win streak.
Now, very much an incredible win from Beast-like there. Very much needed from for Pokeslam there. I believe they are now free.
That's very, very important for them. Being 3-3 does mean that they're absolutely in a spot to make the final bracket when they have their final match.
It is still going to be tough because I did misspeak earlier. I do believe it actually is Hexagon being 5-1. So now Hexagon and PixelmonGO both being 5 wins, 1 loss.
Well, I do believe the next match in that group is between them.
Yeah,
Be very interesting to watch.
Pokeslam definitely not out of the count yet, but we'll be definitely going an uphill battle versus
Mm-hmm.
Hexagon MC. 3 very good battles we've seen today from these two teams.
I do
Beast
believe
like
that is
truly
our
returning to the match with that Quiver Dance Volcarona. Massive plays from him there.
I do believe that is our last match of the day.
I do believe
We do
so.
have more matches tomorrow. Between Smash MC and Coliseumon and Poke Valley and Poke Nova. You should come on the Discord channel to get the exact scheduling information. You can find the Pixelmon World Cup Discord on the Pixelmon World Cup server. If you wish to support the Pixelmon World Cup, as we are a small community-driven event, you can go to the sponsorship segment on the website. Any help really goes a long way and means a lot to us. We do hope you come around for our next matches tomorrow. A big thank you, as always, to all the staff. That the refs, the support, the organizers, all the people that make this possible, and also all the teams that showed up today and fought their hardest.
Yeah. Truly incredible matches today. 6 very close matches. Don't be fooled by how many Pokemon were remaining, guys. All of those matches could have definitely gone either way. Great battles today. Very impressed by all teams that showed. I hope tomorrow will be an equally exciting day. And thank
Very
you for
hopefully.
watching.
Yes. I'm Alba. I was one of your hosts for today.
I am Xmuted, and I was the other host for today.
And we will see you next time.